Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will vote on a scaled-back coronavirus relief bill as soon as this week, but Democrats are already dismissing it, saying it falls too short.
The Republican skinny bill is less than a skinny bill. As Chuck Schumer and I have said, it's an emaciated bill. It falls short in meeting the needs of the American people when we talk about putting money in their pockets, when we talk about feeding the food insecure people in our country, preventing evictions for those who become homeless, completely ignores what we need to do in a very substantial way.
NBC News correspondent Leanne Caldwell joins me now. Leanne, we've heard this bill called, I think, targeted, scaled down, skinny. What does this smaller bill actually look like?
And all of those words are apt descriptors of this legislation. It's a $300 billion bill, which is much smaller than, remember, the $1 trillion bill that Republicans in the Senate introduced in July. And it's way smaller than the $3.4 trillion bill that Democrats passed in the House in May. And that's where those negotiations are stuck. So what the Senate Republican bill actually does, well, it provides unemployment insurance, an additional $300 a week federal benefit, which of course is smaller than the $600 a week. It is big on Majority Leader McConnell's big priority, which is liability protections for businesses who are operating in COVID. It also provides grants and tax credits for private schools, kids that go to private school and homeschool. And it provides $100 billion for education and $16 billion for testing. So that's what it does. But let's be clear about this legislation. Even though McConnell says they're going to vote on it this week in the Senate, it's not going to get the 60 votes needed to pass, to go anywhere. What this is an exercise in political posturing. McConnell has been searching for a bill that can coalesce his conference, get 51 Senate Republicans at least. And this is the bill that he was able to do. He was able in this bill to satisfy those fiscal hawks and also address the needs of his vulnerable Republicans who are up for re-election in just a few weeks now, in about 2 months, who are desperately wanting relief for their voters back home. So this is not going to go anywhere. This is not going to end the stalemate in negotiations, but this is an attempt for McConnell and Republicans to show people that they are looking like they're doing something, Allison.
So, Leanne, I think the big question a lot of people have, when will something actually get passed? Here's what White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows said about getting a relief package passed.
So you do believe that we will see another stimulus package before the election then, Mark? Or you're not sure?
And, I do. I'm not sure, obviously, but I do believe that we'll see that only because I've had a number of conversations, probably a dozen, sometimes a day, with different rank and file members. I'm more optimistic perhaps today than I've been in a long time.
So, Leanne, what are you hearing on Capitol Hill? Are lawmakers as optimistic that we might see something before the election?
Well, Mark Meadows, what he said was that he's having lots of discussions with rank and file lawmakers, but those are not the people in the negotiating room. While those might be nice discussions, they're not going to lead to a deal. I asked House Speaker Pelosi today if there has been any movement in her discussions with Meadows and with Mnuchin. She said that she has not spoken to them recently, indicating that talks have not resumed at all. And she also had some very harsh words for Mark Meadows, saying that he is not someone, she said on Bloomberg today that he is not a serious negotiator, pretty much dismisses his role in this entire situation. So optimism is not the word that I would describe when I am talking to members on Capitol Hill. This stalemate is extremely deep. The little bit of optimism I would point to, though, Allison, is that the White House is signaling that they would go above their $1 trillion cap on a price tag, perhaps to about 1.5 trillion. So that is moving in the right direction for Democrats. But Pelosi has been very adamant that they need to come closer before she's willing to come back to the negotiating table, Allison.
All right, Leanne, before you go, I want to ask you a non-relief package related question. We understand House Democrats are now investigating Postmaster General Louis DeJoy. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the House Oversight Committee announced that they are opening an investigation into him, and that is coming amid reports that he and his old company, a logistics company in North Carolina, pressured employees to make political contributions to the Republican Party and then reimbursed them at a later date. That is something that violates not only federal campaign finance law, but North Carolina campaign finance law as well. So they say that they're going to open an investigation into that. But there's another aspect to their investigation, Allison, and that is lying to Congress. There's a member, Democrat Jim Cooper, who asked DeJoy at his hearing a couple of weeks ago before that committee if he ever reimbursed people, his former employees, for political contributions, in which DeJoy called that allegation, quote, outrageous, and said that he did not do that. So if these reports prove true, then it could be that DeJoy did lie to Congress, which is another crime, Allison. So these investigations and the anger with DeJoy is just continuing on Capitol Hill. And one thing that I want to note is that President Trump said that perhaps DeJoy should be investigated. So if he loses friends in the Republican Party and loses a friend in the White House, it's very lonely to defend yourself in Washington, Allison.
Leanne, it's funny. I've been off for just over a week, and I come back, and I feel like we're talking about a lot of the same things that we were talking about right before I left. The Postmaster General getting... Right? I'm getting nowhere with a relief package. It seems like we're slow going here. Leanne, thank you so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.